Well, for me, initially it just felt that it was so far away that it couldn't possibly affect us here.
I think, like a lot of people, initially it felt so far away, and there'd been previous outbreaks of SARS and other similar viruses that had just never reached our shores. So I think part of me thought that this would go the same way, it would play out the same way.
Yeah, there were definitely a whole spectrum of reactions from the public. So customers who have gone through previous episodes like SARS and whatnot, they were quite vigilant about wearing masks and very careful about what they touch. Whereas some other people who have different experiences perhaps were a bit skeptical of the whole pandemic situation and thought that it was impeding in their way of life and how they go about their own business, I suppose. So.
Where I work, we are in between two supermarkets, and food is survival, food is life. And when the library was open, the people going to the supermarkets, finding shelves empty, walking in and seeing absence of food, they were scared. And we as staff, we had to make abstraction of what we were going through.
And he said to us all the coordinators, he said, be prepared for shutdowns in Victoria, consider what you would do with your staff. And he mentioned the libraries. He actually said, what would the library do if you had to shut your doors?
It was like it was off to a slow start, and then all of a sudden we were faced with really challenging decisions about how we were going to manage our work and how to stay safe and how to just navigate these really new waters in terms of being a public building that was really important to the community, but how do we navigate this when this is about keeping our distance from people?
It was a conflict of feelings actually. So on one hand, I was a little bit apprehensive about coming to work, about stepping outside my door, breathing the air outside, whether I was going to get the virus somewhere. But on the other hand, I realized the importance of the library service and not only my own feelings, but it was read many times to me as customers walked through the door saying how much they value the service, how much they love that we're still opening, that they can get books from us. And I was just like, I want to help, at the same time I'm scared for my own safety as well. So it was a very conflicted situation.
Though we trusted in management, we knew we were safe, but we also had to deal with the people coming in, and the people were asking us, why were you open when the libraries next door were closed, in the council next to us? What are you doing differently, which gave you the right to be open? So we as staff at that time had to sort of rationalize and say, we are doing our best. We are doing our best to protect you, doing our best to protect each of us, and doing our best to give you a sense of normality. But everyone felt proud to be able to contribute in our own little way
I was excited to remain open, and I was very energised and empowered to make decisions that would keep the staff and community safe. So for me, staying open was a victory.
For me, I thought it was great for the community because I was still pretty relaxed about it all. I wasn't overly concerned for my well-being. I thought that it wasn't going to get out of hand. The community appreciated that we were still offering the service, that our doors were still open even though they were closing around us.
I think to be part of the team that continued to deliver till the 11th hour as much as possible it's a really nice memory to have. It was a really interesting time because we, as a leadership team, were working so rapidly to make decisions about what we could offer and develop the processes to do so responsibly and safely. And then we would communicate that to the staff and to the customers, and then within 24 hours we had to completely reinvent our plan. It just changed so rapidly day by day.
So I felt hugely encouraged by the staff that we already have, all sort of stepping up and being engaged and using their skills to adapt very, very quickly to what was a very fluid and very challenging environment for our customers.
There was a sense of excitement about just embracing this challenge and fulfilling the possibilities, like delivering something that was meaningful to the community. This was not a time to be idle. This was a time to really, really understand what we meant when we couldn't be open, like what we meant to our community when we couldn't be open.
小朋友们，我真心希望你们在家也可以继续读书。
Se sei felice tu lo sai, batti le mani. Se sei felice tu lo sai, batti le mani.
So online storytime was a time, recording online storytime was a time where everyone in our team realized at that time that you can do more than what you're expected to do within your organization. You realize that you can connect with kids outside the four walls. So it was one of the best experiences, I think, so far.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle from Glen Waverley Library, and this is Jenny, our Auslan storyteller.
We were looking for creative ways to promote our ebooks and e-audiobooks and e-magazines and all of the resources that had always been there, but were now just relevant in a whole new way because people didn't have access to our physical collections.
connecting and social inclusion is one of the things I do believe strongly. So working from home, I was always trying to find ways to bring the community to connect with the libraries. And sometimes I couldn't stop because I was so engaged in it, and I had to learn how to draw a line.
Working from home initially was just a crazy ride. It was chaos. There was this real sense of conflict around how to meet the needs of my family, as well as meet the needs of my suddenly changing and evolving job, and this desire I had to really deliver to our community and put the library online so that they could access as much as possible.
I made the decision to, while there were staff still in the branch, that I would come into work each day to support the team, and then obviously maintain that contact online with the staff that had opted to work from home, which I fully supported.
I felt wonderful on opening day.
I interviewed the first customer who came in and received service at the Glen Waverley Library the day we reopened, and it was such a lovely discussion to have, you know, to just talk to customers and for the first time in so long actually see firsthand and in person how excited they were to return to the library.
We were open for 5.5 weeks, and I'm incredibly proud of what we achieved in that time.
So when the announcement was eventually made that it was another 6 weeks, because the rumours were 4 weeks and then suddenly it was 6 weeks, it was quite devastating really, because we'd only just creeping back into that level. We'd only just really opened the doors for browsing, like we'd been several weeks just for reservation collection. The browsing had only just started, and then bang, it was here we go again. But the response from the community when that happened was something that I won't forget. And I've worked in this library service for 23 years, and standing there at the desk looking out the window and seeing a line of customers across the forecourt at the Glen Waverley Library and then up the hill was a memory that I'll always have. That it obviously demonstrated the high importance that the library played in those people's lives, that they came out because they knew I've only got till 7 o'clock tonight or whatever it is, or till midnight to get my books, and to see that number of people lined up, and it showed that the library meant a lot to them, that they needed that material to get them through.
Some of the stories I've heard of staff feeling really empowered by the customers' gratitude. So a lot of people were just so thrilled that they could come in and stock up, borrow from the library. We knew the libraries were all closing around the state at the same time. So customers knew and customers were coming in. We stayed open a little bit longer in the evening.
The big difference between lockdown 1 and lockdown 2 was that we were able to offer the delivery to your door reservation service in lockdown 2. I think the amazing thing about this time has been that we've all discovered what we are all capable of, and I think everyone's been surprised at what they are capable of. You know, there's that common interview question in job interviews about how you perform under pressure. I think no one is in any doubt now about how they perform under pressure.
But I think for all of the staff, there's a much greater feeling of being part of the entire council. So that's really good. And I think part of that comes down to having a shared goal. We've had a shared vision that we want to manage this very difficult situation safely for staff to be able to achieve together, and different areas in council have come in to help the library services in all kinds of ways.
At the beginning, when there was despair and lack of food, lack of survival, everyone was just crawling to get toilet paper and food and stacking things. There was despair and there was lack of hope because we need to be ready. But then now you are, and you still don't know what's going to happen, but you can still do your little part in making things, I won't say better, but different for yourself, for your colleagues, and for your community.
Fat sausages sizzling in the pan. Sizzle, 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 and one went bang!
I think because the library has learned so much about putting content online and reaching those people who we might not reach normally, that we can still continue doing that after the pandemic is over. We can still extend our reach to people who can't come to the library. We can still extend our reach to people who might not even live in Australia. They can see our content online.
It showed that we can adapt, the libraries can be relevant, they can still function. It's maybe different to the norm of what a library normally is, but we can still play a role in people's lives.
In terms of the library service as a whole, I think there's no going back. Absolutely, I think we've achieved something really, really significant during this time, and I don't think anyone has a desire to go back to the exact kind of service delivery that we offered before the pandemic. I think we have leapt forward in huge leaps, and why would we want to take a step back? I think what we've realised really importantly is that what we're offering during the pandemic is also really relevant at any other time. So when all of this is over, when there's no more lockdowns, when we're not looking at new case numbers every day, when this is no longer a threat, we're going to take forward all of this experience and all of these new ways of working, and it will allow us to reach more people and keep more people engaged than ever before, and that can only be a good thing.